At 47, I had nothing left to prove. The problem was, I had nothing left at all. His name was Marcus, and if you had met him 5 years earlier, you would have called him a success. Corner office, company car, 3 employees who called him boss and meant it. He coached his daughter's soccer team on Saturdays, he grilled on Sundays, he paid his mortgage on time. He was, by every measure that society uses to count a man's worth, winning. Then the market shifted. His biggest client walked away, the loans came due, and one cold Tuesday in November, Marcus sat in his accountant's office and heard a sentence that changed everything. Marcus, there's no way to save it. The business is done. He drove home that day and sat in the driveway for 45 minutes. He couldn't go inside. He didn't know how to look his wife in the eyes and say, "I failed us." He lost the business. Then he lost his confidence. Then, slowly, he started losing himself. He stopped returning calls. He slept late. He applied for jobs he was overqualified for and told himself it was temporary. But 6 months became 1 year, and 1 year became 2. His daughter stopped asking him to watch her games. His wife stopped asking him how he was doing, because they already knew. The answer was always the same. One afternoon, his neighbor Roy stopped by. Roy was 71, retired, a former carpenter who still wore sawdust like cologne. He looked at Marcus, standing in the empty garage, and said something Marcus didn't understand at the time. "You know what's funny about a broken chair? It doesn't know it's broken. It's just waiting for someone to pick it up." Marcus almost laughed. It sounded like something you'd read on a coffee mug, but Roy didn't leave. He pulled up a stool, handed Marcus a sanding block, and said simply, "Show me what you know." Marcus said he didn't know much about woodworking. Roy shrugged. "Good. Empty cups are easier to fill." That afternoon, they fixed a chair. It took 3 hours. It was crooked. One leg was still slightly shorter than the others, but Marcus had made something with his hands for the first time in years. And when he put it back on the floor, and it held his weight, something shifted in his chest. He cried in the car before walking back inside, not because of the chair, because he had forgotten what it felt like to finish something. Marcus went back the next day, and the day after that. He wasn't building a business. He wasn't chasing money. He was just building. A small table, a bookshelf, a repair for Roy's back porch stairs. His wife, Elena, noticed the garage light on at 6 in the morning one Thursday. She didn't say anything. She just left a coffee on the workbench without knocking. That was how she said, "I see you. I still believe in you." The most powerful words his wife ever said to him. She didn't say at all. A friend of Roy's saw the bookshelf and asked if Marcus would make one for her. She offered him $120. He almost said no. He almost said he wasn't a real craftsman. He almost said he was still figuring it out. But instead, he said yes. His daughter, Nia, was 16 by then. She had stopped talking to him much, not out of anger, but because she didn't know what to say to the man her father had become. Then one evening, she wandered into the garage with her headphones around her neck. She looked at the shelves, the small table, a handmade lamp Marcus had finished that week. Then she asked, "Dad, did you make all of this?" He said yes. She stood there quietly for a moment. Then she said, "It's actually really good." She didn't hug him. She didn't cry. She just picked up a piece of sandpaper and said, "Show me what to do." And that was everything. That was every apology, every missed game, every silent dinner, healed in one sentence. Some repairs take lumber. Some repairs take time. The most important ones take showing up. Marcus did not become a millionaire. This is not that story. He started a small custom furniture business out of his garage. It took 2 years to turn a real profit. He still wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. He still has difficult days. He still sometimes sits alone in the early quiet of the garage, the same way he sat in the dark 2 years before. But now the lamp is on, the coffee is warm, and there is something waiting to be built. He used to think his story was over, that he had written the last page, and it wasn't a good ending. But here is what no one tells you about life at 45, at 50, at 55. You don't just get a second chapter. Sometimes you get a whole second book. Roy passed away the following spring. At the funeral, Marcus stood and spoke for 4 minutes. He said Roy never gave him advice, never told him what to do. He just handed him a sanding block and said, "Show me what you know." And in doing that, he gave Marcus back the only thing he had truly lost, the belief that he still had something to offer the world. So let me speak directly to you now. You, who are somewhere in the middle of your own story. You, who are wondering if it's too late. You, who have sat in the driveway and not known how to go inside. It is not too late. That feeling you have, that your best days have already passed, is not a fact. It is a mood, and moods change. You don't need a grand plan. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need a sanding block and the willingness to show up. The second chapter doesn't announce itself. It starts quietly, in a garage, a notebook, a morning walk, a conversation you almost didn't have. It starts with one small, ordinary act of courage. Your story is not over. It's just getting good.
If this story moved you, please like this video. It tells us to keep making them. Subscribe for a new story every week. And if you know someone who needs to hear this right now, share it with them. That share might be the most important thing that happens in their week.